Good morning, class. In the previous lesson, we have learned about the structure of nephron, alright, the different structures we have learned. Now, today we are going to learn about the formation of urine, alright, formation of urine. The formation of urine takes place in 3 stages, alright, it takes place in 3 stages. First stage is known as ultrafiltration, second is reabsorption, and the third one is tubular secretion. So we are going to learn about them in detail. Now, whenever we are thinking of ultrafiltration, in the previous class I've told you that Bowman's capsule and glomerulus, they together to constitute to form Malpighian capsule. So we are going to learn. So ultrafiltration will take place till this stage, till here. So we are going to learn about them. So the Malpighian capsule, okay, including Bowman's capsule and glomerulus. So what happens in this process is the blood from the renal artery enters the afferent arterioles, which enters into fine network of capillaries, and this fine network of capillaries are known as glomerulus. These glomerulus are permeable, right, which filters out all the liquid part and harmful and useful substances as it gets filtered through Bowman's capsule. The Bowman's capsule receives the filtrate, all right, it receives from the glomerulus, it receives the filtrate, all right, and that comes out from the glomerulus, which is concentrate, meaning it can have harmful substances also or useful substances, and that are reabsorbed back to blood. All right, so that is reabsorbed. So this doesn't know whether it's harmful or good, so it is reabsorbed back to blood. All right, this process is known as ultrafiltration. Once again, the process of filtration under high pressure in Malpighian capsule is known as ultrafiltration. After this is next step is reabsorption. The filtrate that comes out in the Bowman's capsule, all right, enters the PCT, that is proximal convoluted tubule. So the liquid blood that is left, all right, that is left over here. So what happens to that? The blood left in the glomerulus, it starts moving from the afferent arteriole into blood vessel having known as vasa recta. It flows parallel to PCT, that is proximal to the whole of the nephron. All right, it flows parallel to whole of the nephron. All right, it flows parallel to whole of the nephron because the process of reabsorption has to take place from urine to blood. So what this proximal and this recta, they are parallel to each other. So whenever proximal convoluted tubule, when there's excess of salt, minerals are to be removed. So what it does, it removes and vasa recta takes it or reabsorbs it. So whenever vasa recta has presence of like a good source of elements or any substance, that is it has to take place. So vasa removes it and proximal convoluted tubule takes place, and this process that is reabsorption taking between them is by process of diffusion. So in this reabsorption of water, sodium chloride ions also takes place. So if any extra will be removed, proximal extra will be removed and vasa recta will be absorbing it. So nothing is going to get wasted in this process. So reabsorption takes place. Next, after this, we go to loop of Henle. So in loop of Henle also, reabsorption of mineral takes place. Last one is tubular secretion. So what happens in tubular secretion in distal convoluted tubule? In this process, osmoregulation takes place. reabsorption of mineral salts and sodium ions again takes place. Walls that secretes potassium and foreign chemicals such as penicillin, any drugs that we have taken, other drugs, into forming urine. All right, so this is what it does, tubular secretion. All right, so what happens to this now, vasa recta? What happens to this blood? The blood is secreted out to, because it entered to renal artery, it is secreted to renal vein. So what happens to the collecting duct then? What do collecting duct do is, it receives the content of many kidney tubules and pours it as urine. From the collecting duct, it passes to ureter, then to urinary bladder, and it is released in the form of urine. So this is all right about the formation of urine.